Alrighty, hello, hello. Welcome to our financial wellness for 2025. New Year. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for connecting. And I'm looking forward to give you the first half of this seminar. It's really about kicking off a new year with not only hopes and expectations, but also ambitions and what we want to accomplish this year. And so I want to actually get things started and kick it off with this quote that I've learned over the years in my career. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. But over the years, I've learned that most people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. And that's why we want to bring this seminar to you. And if you know anybody that needs this information as well, we will be sending out the recording. And so again, looking forward to give you this information today. But as we are talking about failing to plan, this is really where a lot of people are missing this initial step in the process of financial wellness. We all, when we think about a new year, we think about fitness, our health. Maybe stop eating the snacks that we love and start going to the gym a little bit more. But we also got to be thinking about our financial wellness and our financial fitness. And so that's why we want to kick this year with this seminar. And so let's get things started. So here is what we're going to be going over today. It's going to be myself and Mario Fragomeno, who's going to be taking over the second part of our seminar today. We're going to go over our story, some elements of financial planning, options for your money, and solutions that you could implement. And so let's actually get started with a little bit about my story. I actually used to be a business analyst in healthcare before, believe it or not, but I've been in the industry now for a little bit over 12 years. And it's been an amazing experience. I never thought financial services was going to be my route, but I was missing fulfillment. I was missing a little bit of purpose and that fire that I wanted to feel when I was doing what I was doing in my career. And that was not necessarily what I was feeling with reports and data analysis and all of that I was doing before. And so again, I never thought financial services, but I was always open-minded to different opportunities. And about 12 years ago, I got introduced to our company, but also I got introduced to a lot of different concepts that unfortunately I was not aware of. I knew that I needed to budget. I knew that I needed to live within my means, that I wanted to avoid credit cards, and that I needed to plan for the future, but I didn't know how to do it. I was actually getting my master's degree in business, and it was an eye opener because up to that point, getting a master's degree in business, I had no idea how to invest my money and how to plan better for the future. I also thought of a 401k at the time. I was using a 401k, but I didn't understand it. I didn't know where the allocations were going. And so all these details that could get overwhelming with financial planning. And also, we don't know what we don't know. So again, I commend you for being here tonight with us. This is a great way to kick off the year, to make sure that you are on the right track, or maybe to implement some things that you still need in your financial plan. So keep that in mind. Now, let's kind of transition into our company. We are a full-fledged financial firm, and we represent a lot of different companies in the industry. Maybe as you see here on the screen, we have a lot of those, but maybe you already recognize or you already have in place for yourself. And so we have over 100 companies that in one way or another we're doing business with. And as you know, it's not one size fits all. There's a lot of strategies. There's a lot of information that we could provide for people, but every single strategy is going to look and it's going to be designed in a completely different way according to our needs. So as much as we have all these different companies, we're always going to be matching those solutions for our clients. And this is where that strength and selection comes into place. As you can see here on the left side of our screen, you also see all these different accounts, all these different solutions that you want to have in your financial strategy. Again, not one size fits all, not one is better than the others. What do we have and where do we actually fill the gap to complement, to enhance, and to make it better and stronger? Think about, again, anything that needs an update in life, your technology, your car, maybe your computer, your phone, also maybe some habits that we need to update. And in financial services, in our financial solutions, it's not any different. There are new things that get implemented, new strategies or new products that come out, and it's important to actually have a plan in place. Most importantly, have a professional that is helping you guide through the process, and someone that you could ask questions and say, hey, am I on track, or am I doing the right thing? Is this a better solution than the other one based on my situation? So keep that in mind as well. Now, let's now go into some basic financial knowledge, some elements of a financial plan. And so I want to kind of give you basics so that we could transition to Mario, and he'll touch on the options for our money and also the solution. So let's start with compound interest and the power of compound interest. So a lot of times what I see when I'm doing financial assessment is that people are not, if they're not gaining that interest, they're paying that interest. And so it's always a lot better when you have compound interest in your team. And so what do I mean by that? Well, let's break down how money works. And the idea is that money should be making money for you. The idea is that money should be working harder than you do. And how do we do that? Through interest. So here's the mathematical formula that it will give us specifically the amount of years that it will take for our money to double. And that works the same when we have an interest that we're paying. Well, it's the same idea. So with this mathematical formula, you could use it to identify, okay, how fast am I going to be paying this debt? Or, hey, I need to have this money compound for me. That would be the ideal situation, right? So on the rule of 72, essentially, we're identifying the interest that we get on our money. We divide that by the number 72, and we will get the amount of years that it will take to double. But here we have a basic example. Let's assume that we have a $10,000 lump sum of money. And by the way, when I'm giving you numbers and examples like that, think of it concept. It doesn't have to start with 10,000. It could be $100. It could be, so X amount of money there, but let's say we have 10,000. And so if I invested in an account that will give me a 1% interest, this $10,000 will take 72 years to become $20,000. So imagine 72 years, I might not be alive by then. And so, might not, probably not. So 72 years is a long time. And if we need this money sooner for maybe some goals for this year, or maybe in the next 5 years, or in the next 10 years, well, I definitely need to gain more interest than that. When it comes to a higher interest, then we'll take a look at the same example, but at a 10%. So that $10,000 invested, let's say at age 29, it will double every 7.2 years. So that means that 29 starts with 10,000, getting 10% interest every single year. Then every 7.5 or so, that money is growing. And you could see by age 65, there's 320,000 in that account, assuming that there's no additional contributions. And at 72, 640,000. So again, the idea is that we could actually make our money work for us. And also the idea is that we could identify where we're going to be able to get that higher interest. And we're going to touch on solutions, so you'll definitely get to hear that. But I want to transition into basic elements of a financial plan. And when we talk about basic elements of a financial plan, these are the 8 elements that you are going to see in a financial plan. And so let's start with number 1. And by the way, when it comes to this element, we're touching in our conversation today on about 6 of them. So we're not going to go into all the details of every single one. We're going to touch on some of them and the importance. But I think it's also very important to highlight here that we need to start with goals. We need to start with identifying where we are in our situation. We're going to set in budgets, making sure that, again, we're living within our means, that we're not overspending, that we're creating that cash flow that is needed for our needs. We also need to make sure that we're saving for retirement, estate plan. And so this is more of advanced planning when it comes to your financial overall, but it is part of it. It's part of the conversation that needs to happen. If you have assets, if you have a business, it is extremely important to have a will or a trust in place, managing debt, preparing for emergencies, planning for taxes, and most importantly, also, again, this is kind of hand in hand with number 3 here, investing for long term. So basic fundamentals of a financial plan. If you're thinking, okay, I'm missing 3 or I'm missing 5 or I'm missing 4, whatever situation it is that you're missing or whatever kind of element that you're missing, you could always add it. You could always enhance it. It's a breathing animal, essentially. You got to make sure that you're constantly checking on your financial plan. I also see this a lot in the field where people, don't think that they need to meet with a financial professional or a financial advisor because they're like, oh, I'm okay with my bills or I'm saving for retirement. But again, it is important, just like we go to the doctor once a year for our physical or that routine visit, we want to make sure that we are doing the same with our financial plans, right? And so let's continue on and let's actually touch on that first step or element in the process, and it is the goals that we have to set for ourselves. And here are the 3 different types of goals that we need to set in a financial plan. And the first type of goal is going to be a short-term goal. That could be an emergency fund. That could be maybe a trip, something that it could be accomplished within a year. And this type of goals tend to be easy to achieve. And it's essentially just reverse engineering the numbers and making sure that you are focused on that current situation and that short-term period. Midterm goals are going to be now between 1 and 5 years to accomplish. And this could be maybe paying it off or starting to invest towards retirement at 20% in those accounts, or it could be starting to invest in other type of solutions, right? So it really depends, or maybe a down payment for a house, things like that, a wedding as well. And last but not least, long-term goals. So when it comes to long-term goals, it takes 5 or more years to accomplish or longer to accomplish. I think that a lot of times too, what I see in the field and when I'm meeting with clients is that they kind of put these off. They're like, I have time. But remember, time is to your benefit. Time is to your advantage. Compound is not going to happen without time along with it. And so make sure that you get to this, all these 3 areas in your goals, and that you actually have something set for all 3 categories, or maybe it's 2 categories, maybe it's short and long-term goals, but at least that you could have set goals for yourself. I also, one of the exercises that I do with my clients is that financial independence number. What is the target? What is that amount long-term that you will need to be financially independent? So that you don't have to worry about money, that you can live off a principal or capital that you've accumulated over the years, and that you don't have to think about retirement or how is that going to happen. And let's now transition into budgets. And so here I actually included 2 different types of budget plans, because a lot of times, again, what is the right amount to invest? People are thinking amounts and not percentages. So I wanted to give you 2 different type of plans. And by the way, again, it doesn't have to be the same for everyone. All of us are dealing with different situations and different budgets as well. But I want to give you 2 different baselines where this could be ideal to implement starting off to 2025, and that maybe you could be more aware and intentional with some of the money that is going in different places. And so it's all about having a balance. As you can see on the left side here, we have the 50-30-20 budget plan, and this is essentially 50% of our income going into our needs and expenses. The 30% goes towards our wants. And again, that's where that balance comes into place. It's not, hey, you can't save money, you can't spend money, or you can't have go out to eat because you need to save more money. Not at all. It's about having that balance, but it's making sure that you're allocating the right amounts into some areas than others. And last but not least, 20% savings and debt repayment. So sometimes people split it in half, and that's 10 and 10. And sometimes I've seen people that, they're not aware of this percentage and they're thinking, oh, I could save $200, but that $200 doesn't even equal to a 1% perhaps of their income. So kind of keep that in mind. Think percentages, because percentages are going to also count for your increases on income over the years. The more money you make, the more money you're putting away, but also the more money that you have for your needs and the more money you have for your wants. And then on the right side, we see just a little variance here, and it's essentially 15% towards retirement, 5% towards short-term savings. And again, that could be the immediate focus. That could be a high-yield savings account for emergency funds. But still, we have that 30% for wants and that 50% towards our needs. So with that said, I'm going to pass it now to our next speaker, who's going to be going into solutions. I wanted to kind of give you basics. I wanted to give you things to think about, but he's going to really go into the details on what are some of the things that we could be doing in 2025 to better our financial plan, most importantly, to get to that financial security and the financial wellness that we're talking about. So, Mr. Mario, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Angie. Appreciate that. And welcome everybody to our financial wellness seminar to kick off the year. I know it's already the 22nd, I believe, but this year has started fast, but a little slow, but here we are. But a little bit about myself. I grew up in Pasadena, California. My original background is civil engineering. My transition career is about 12 years ago now. And fast forward, today I'm one of the senior marketing directors of the firm. And what I found over the years is people are hardworking, they're smart. However, due to our educational system, they don't know too much about finances. And I was one of them as well, right? No one ever sat down with me and taught me about my 401k, my IRA, stocks, bonds, interest rates, investing. So we're on a mission of no family left behind, and we really focus on education. That's what we're going to focus on today as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. Enough about me. Let's look at this roadmap when it comes to financial planning. I love this visual because all too often when I meet with people, they're so obsessed with trying to make money, make money, make money, make money. That's fantastic, but they have to focus on playing defense first, right? This is why you need your health insurance, your disability, also long-term care. Okay, long-term care is a huge component of our clients' financial plan, especially in today's environment where the cost of long-term care has completely skyrocketed. We're sitting down with clients that are now receiving medical bills and long-term care bills of thousands of dollars per month that is starting to erode their retirement. Okay. Life insurance, right? A lot of people we sit down with, they have life insurance through their employer. However, what we find, it simply just doesn't cover enough. So we always mention focus on protection first, right? Because you're always going to be the biggest money maker. The market is set to make you 8 to 12%. But if you're making hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars a year and something happens to you physically, you're going to, who cares about your investments? You're just going to wipe them out, right? So it's all about protection first. As you get your protection, then we really start talking about educational savings. Could be a 529 account. It could be structured permanent life insurance, which we'll cover in a little bit. Retirement, okay, do not rely on Social Security. Definitely do not rely on your employer. More than ever, it's the personal responsibility for us to save and invest for our own retirement. So we're going to talk about some strategies later, but also personal savings. Okay, on top of your emergency fund, one of the best things you could do for yourself is save additional money. It does help your mindset. It does make you think more positive. It just makes you a better person overall. Okay, then that's when we start looking at the investments, right? Stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency. different types of forms out there, commodities, real estate, but all too often we see people forget about the protection element of their financial plan. Now, different options for your money, okay? And this is where we really come in, is people understand that they have to make money on their money, right? Angie went over compound interest. And right now in the United States, we had some major issues when it comes to inflation. Everything has gotten quite more expensive the past 4 years. So we need to not only save money, but we need to invest the money so that it compounds and grows and not only keeps up with the pace of inflation, but also has a large lump sum of money waiting in the long term. Okay, but how do we do it? There's really only three different ways. There's fixed strategies, variable, and index. The way society is really structured, most people we sit down with, they have fixed, could be a CD account at the bank, high yielding savings, emergency fund, a checking, a savings. Also, they have variable. And typically someone gets introduced to the stock market through their employer, right? You start a job, you're a W-2 employee, your employer offers a 401k, 403, 457. They offer a retirement account, and you say, you know what, I do need to save for retirement. You check this box, all of a sudden, a portion of your assets are going towards the stock market, which is variable. Okay, I know the stock market is at near record highs. The S&P 500 is now over 6,000. If that doesn't mean much to you, well, the S&P 500 dropped all the way down to around 650 back in 2008, 2009. So since that big crash, the stock market is now at 6,000. So we went from 650 all the way to 6,000. The stock market had a wonderful year last year, had a great year the year before. This year, we're off to a wonderful start. It's up over 3%, but we call it variable for a reason. Okay, it could go up, but understand it could go down. So when we work with clients, it's all about educating them on what else is out there, filling in any potential gaps they may have in their financial plan. So this is when we introduce a indexing crediting. And most people actually prefer indexing crediting because with indexing, you're guaranteed to not lose. That's where the protection comes in. And at the same time, your account gets credited based on the performance of the stock market. But most people only have fixed, only have variable. Okay, so I'm going to talk about indexing in greater detail because it is one of our most popular strategies. And it is a strategy where, if we're going back to the roadmap, where you can also protect your assets while making additional money as well. Okay, but really ask yourself, how do you want your money to grow? Everyone is different. However, when it comes to financial planning, it's really A plus B plus C. Everything has advantages and disadvantages. So it's up to you to do some of all of it. Okay. If you're not in a position to do some of all of it, we'll definitely sit down, build a custom plan, tailor plan, pick one that fits your personality the best. And the reason why I say that fits your personality is because it's your money, right? I know there's a lot of information out there, especially on the internet. Do what feels right to you, right? Not to somebody else, because end of the day, it is your money, but you have to do something for your future. Okay. But how do we help clients, especially with this indexing strategy? The first way we help clients is really introducing tax-free strategies, but understanding, wait a minute, before we talk about making money, we need to understand what happens mathematically, okay, when your money goes down. Because everyone, to be very frank with you, has been extremely spoiled with these great stock market returns, right? 26% last year, 25% the year before. Market's up already 3%, 600 to 6,000 since the big crash. But people need to understand, and look, this market could go down 5, 10, 15% any day now. Do we know when? We don't. Okay, but mathematically, numbers go down so much faster than they go back up. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so if you're down 10%, 11% to get back to even, that's not so bad. But it gets worse and worse the more the market drops, right? If we have a 30% drop, which could happen, that's official bear market territory. Well, shoot, it's going to take almost 50% just to break back to even. Okay, so we definitely have to play defense. And the way we do it is going to be through taxes, but more importantly, through indexing crediting. Okay, but these are the tax-free strategies that we set up for our clients. These are the two most popular ways that we do it. The IRS actually allows us to pay taxes today and never pay taxes ever again. But you have to understand on how to do it. The first way is through a special account called a Roth IRA. It's an individual retirement account Once again, the IRS lets you pay taxes today, and then you never pay taxes ever again, right? Quite popular, but you do have to qualify for this account. It is based on income restrictions. Another positive thing, though, it is an individual retirement account. So if you are married, you could do one, and your partner could do one if you qualify based on income. Be careful though, because even though it's tax-free, the money within the account will most likely be invested in the stock market, so you can lose money in a Roth IRA. So if the stock market decides to go negative, you'll be negative in your Roth IRA. So what's the solution for somebody that doesn't want to lose money, but they also want to make money? This is when the indexing crediting comes into play. And the way we do it is through a permanent life insurance policy. Okay, it's called a life insurance risk strategy. It's a way to protect your family. You could actually add long-term care to your policy now. And at the same time, you have a special savings account that's going to compound and grow with the market. I'm going to break this one down in more detail because you'd be surprised. When people hear life insurance, they're thinking, oh, I know how life insurance works. But life insurance is actually advantageous if you structure your plan correctly. Okay, so let me break this strategy down. And if you have this, fantastic. If you don't, maybe this is something you could add to your overall plan. When it comes to life insurance, there's two types of life insurance. The first type is what's called term life insurance. That's when you're renting coverage for, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years. Okay. If someone passes away during the coverage period, the family's going to get a tax-free death benefit. Okay. And yes, proceeds from a life insurance policy, 99% of the time are tax-free to the family. Okay. That 1% is if the family's high net worth and they're above the estate tax. Okay. But that's term. Advantage is a lot of value. You're renting coverage. You could get a lot of coverage for a small dollar amount. Biggest disadvantage is term policies do expire. If you pass away after 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, your policy is going to expire. You're not going to get a death benefit. That's the downside. So the industry came up with a solution. They call it permanent life insurance, where you get guaranteed protection for the rest of your life as long as you keep the policy active. Okay, keyword is active. So this example here is taking advantage of permanent life insurance. So let's say our client wants to get covered for $200,000. It could be more, it could be less. This is where we assemble it and customize and tailor it based on who we're working with and what you're looking to do. But notice there also says living benefit. So what the industry has added is they let you access a death benefit now while you're alive if you need the death benefit for any long-term care, living benefits, maybe you get critical ill, chronically ill, any cancers. So you can access your death benefit while you're still alive. Quite unique in the industry and extremely popular. But like any protection in life, your health insurance, your car insurance, we have to pay a monthly premium for that coverage, okay? Life insurance is no different. So in this example, let's say for $200,000 in life insurance, long-term care protection, complete peace of mind. If anything happens to that person, family's protected. This is going to be a simple $50, $60 a month, okay? But we're going to take advantage of an IRS tax code called 7702. This tax code allows somebody to send in additional money into their plan. That additional money sits in a savings account within the life insurance plan and compounds and grows with the stock market. Okay, so this example, we're going to send in $500 a month. So we already know that 60 is going to go towards the cost of insurance. That's that peace of mind. That's that protection. This extra 440 is now going to go into a savings account within the life insurance plan. Okay. Now, what's great about this savings account is we have clients that send in 1,000 or 2,000, or they do a big lump sum up front. There's no rule that says you cannot send in extra money. All the life insurance company cares about is going to be the cost of insurance. That's where they really make their money. Okay. So you could really take advantage of the savings account because this savings account is going to get credited based on the performance of the S&P 500. So as I mentioned before, the stock market's at record highs. It's over 6,000. Incredible year last year, incredible year before. Market's done quite well. So if the market continues to do well, the savings account is going to get credited based on that performance. However, though, when the stock market goes negative, and we know it will, right? Based on historical data, eventually we're going to have negative years. Well, this savings account is going to be guaranteed to not lose money. Okay, it actually has a floor of 0%. Okay, some companies are going to cap you 30%, some do no cap. Right now, the average is 13%. So let's play this over 4 years. Okay, so somebody has life insurance, they have long-term care protection, they have savings in the bank, they're maintaining their 401k, IRAs, 403b accounts. So a lot of advantages there. They're using this to complement what they're doing already, or they're doing it for additional family protection. So over 4 years, let's say the market does 10%, the savings account will get credited 10%. Market drops 12%. Because of the legal agreement with the company, you have that floor of 0%. You're not going to lose any money. Okay, so if you have $100,000 in there, market makes 10%, you now have 110,000. Market drops 12%, you still have 110,000. So you lock in the high dollar value. Okay. Following year, market goes up 15%. Because of the cap, they'll credit you 13%. I'll take a 13% return all day with zero risk. Okay. More importantly, though, market now drops 20%. You're 100% protected. Okay, so this account's going to look more like a staircase. It's going to go up with the market, or it's going to stay flat in the years that the market doesn't perform. Okay, so quite popular for someone that's already doing a fixed variable. Add this to the financial plan with additional life insurance and long-term care, one of our more popular strategies. Now, because of the money that we're putting into the plan is money we already pay taxes on. So the IRS actually lets you access the money 100% tax-free, like a Roth IRA. So in this one, you're paying taxes today, and then you're never paying taxes ever again. So quite advantageous for a lot of our clients. And I wanted to cover this because today we're focusing on that roadmap of protection, right? We've been playing a lot of offense. The market's doing extremely well, but all too often, a lot of people forget about playing defense first. That good old saying of defense wins championships, offense wins games. It really works well when it comes to your investment portfolio. If you look at the great investors, they're looking to not lose money because they know when the market goes up, they're also going to make money. Okay. Now, start planning for your financial wellness. Okay. Here's a QR code. Feel free to scan it. Set up a follow-up meeting with myself and Miss Angie Lopera. Let's look at your plan. Let's see what you have set up. Let's see what you're missing. Okay. Or maybe you want a free review of your financial plan, especially going into the new year. One of the top 3 goals of somebody every single year, finances is typically on there. So book your free consultation. We could do a Zoom meeting. We could do a phone call, even through email, however you like to do it, but definitely schedule your meeting. But more importantly, thank you to everybody connecting. We will record this and release it to everyone that was registered. But more importantly, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Have a wonderful rest of the week.